Hey, I'm John with Scout Realty. If you're watching this video, you're thinking about selling your house and it looks like you're going to be considering using Scout to sell your house. In this video, I want you to understand what our listing presentation is. I want to give you a process, our framework, and how we're going to sell your house. You're probably going to be interviewing one of our agents, and I hope this video helps you to be equipped to be able to ask them some pointed questions when they come to your house for the listing presentation. So let's dive in. I founded Scout back in 2013, and really our vision was we wanted to reinvent real estate in favor of the homeowner. That's you. And our mission was we want to love people by making homeownership faster, easier, and more affordable. I've been doing real estate for the past 20 years, and my dad was a real estate broker, and I had just seen real estate really not change for a very long time. It seemed kind of stuck in the old ways. And so I wanted to create a business that really obsessed about our clients. They're obsessed about the homeowners. I wanted to make their life better. And so when we talk about loving people, for us is we want to make your experience faster, easier, and more affordable. So there's a couple advantages that we have to offer you. The first thing is we offer a fee-for-service approach to our traditional listings. So our full service, tailored pricing option saves our sellers thousands in commissions. Real estate services shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all approach, so you should only pay for what you need. Choose the service plan that best fits your unique needs. So if you've ever sold a house before, you know that there's real estate commissions that are traditional, and there's a percentage of your house that typically is charged. We believe that it's really important for sellers to have a choice. And so what we do is we offer you a menu of services, and we have fees attached to that menu of services. A lot of our sellers save thousands of dollars. On average, our sellers are saving about $15,000 right now. And so people really like the fee-for-service approach. They really love the tailored pricing that meets their custom needs. Other sellers are valuing time. They are valuing certainty. They're valuing results differently. And so we have timed sales. And so Scout offers sellers a proven plan to have their home under contract within 7 to 14 days. We believe homes sell for more money in less time when there is transparent competition. We build a marketplace around your listing to discover the best buyer. So we have done a little bit of training for sellers around how we sell your house and really our philosophies on selling houses in a timed way. And I laughingly tell sellers a lot of times is, if you were to plan a wedding, if you don't have a date, it makes it really hard to send out the invitations, to buy the flowers, to find the venue, to plan the honeymoon. Like, you need a date on the calendar so which you can plan everything around. In real estate, it's no different. Like, we need a date on the calendar that's our sales date, not our closing date, that will come, but our sales date, the day in which we're going to select the best buyer. And so the reason why we have a 7 to 14 day plan is that this window of time is really the framework by which we identify the best buyer in the marketplace. So we call this our marketplace method. And so we are able to either A, be efficient for people in a traditional setting in our fee-for-service plan, or B, we have a timed sell that really is about building a marketplace around the house. So Scout Marketplace Method promises sellers certainty their house will sell for the highest price on their terms within their timeline. So if you want to sell your house, you're like, I've got a timeline, I've got specific terms, and I want the best price that the market will bear, and I want a process of how we get there, we have a plan for you. The next thing that I want you to understand is that as you have a choice between a traditional listing and a marketplace listing, there's really a way in which we compare the two options. And so again, if you've ever sold a house before, you've probably sold your house the traditional way. And so I want to kind of give us a comparison between the two options. The first thing is, like, let's take into consideration pricing a house. In the marketplace method, the seller holds the power because we put a low price on a house and we set our terms and we have a window in which people are going to bid, so we hold all the cards, versus traditionally we have a higher price and the buyer holds the power, and we're just hopeful and thankful that when we finally do get an offer, the buyer may make a lower offer. The buyer may have some contingencies that we don't like, but when we're looking for one buyer, we lose all power. The next thing is the valuation of a home. So we believe in the marketplace method that competition reveals a property's value versus in a traditional way, the past comps, the sales comps, the things that we look backwards, it assumes the property's value. So I want to reveal a property value. I do not want to assume a property's value. When you use comps, a lot of times there's a false economy that comes from that, because the buyer who bought that house months ago that we're going to kind of benchmark off, that buyer doesn't exist. And secondly, we weren't really involved in that transaction, so we don't really have a context or awareness about what happened to get it sold. So when we kind of benchmark off that to what the property values are today, I don't think that that is as relevant as the active competitors. So I care more about the showings that happen, the people who are in the house, what their opinion of the value is, that competition, more so than what a CMA, a comparative market analysis, has to say about the price per square foot, the list price to sales price. I typically like to lean more towards what does the buyers think about this home, not necessarily what the data has said historically about this home. The next thing when we're comparing our choices is that we believe that an attractive list price is going to have an increased buyer pool, versus in a traditional way, a high list price decreases the amount of buyers that we have. So this idea about engagement is really important to get, because if you want to have more engagement, we need to have a compelling price. So let's talk about how negotiations compare. And in the marketplace method, we have upward negotiations, versus in the traditional method, we have downward negotiations. So if you have a lower price, typically the market starts to compete and that price point moves up, versus you start off high and things start to slide down. I liked upward negotiations more so than downward negotiations. Let's talk about our reputation. In the marketplace method, we're able to protect our reputation if the house doesn't sell in that first week or two, because we haven't shown all of our cards about what the seller's reserve price is. Now, we have a choice if we don't get our seller's reserve price, but at least we did not tarnish a reputation by a misaligned price point with the house. Versus when you have a traditional method, you're going to have a diminished reputation when you don't get an offer. Days go by, weeks go by, months go by, price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. This is a tarnished reputation. Remember, I have said that the longer you're listed, the more price reductions that you have, it's a public display of failure of your listing. We want to avoid that at all costs. As we compare our options leverage, the marketplace method, there is urgency in the sale. There is a time in which we're calling for highest and best. There's a time in which everyone must get their bids in. And so because of that urgent approach, we typically do better than a passive approach where someone can just schedule a showing at any time they want and unlock your door with their buyer's agent, and they never see any competition, and they don't really have any reason to move quickly because the house is on the higher spectrum of the market. And so they're just content with just waiting to see what happens and see if the price comes down. We see this all the time in the traditional setting. The next thing is timelines. We believe in the marketplace method because there's a timed sale. Things are moving faster, versus in the traditional method, the things just move so much slower, very unpredictable, and just unnecessarily stretched out. Scheduling in our marketplace method, we have a defined schedule that we follow, versus in the traditional method, we have an unpredictable time frame. Things just kind of happen when they happen. We'll find out what the buyers think when the buyers make their offer and it comes in, we'll adapt from there. The next thing is certainty of close. So whenever somebody lists their house, if you want to make sure you close, you want to have certainty to be able to pack your bags, to box things up, to plan for your transition. Versus, you know what, we're under contract, but I'm really not sure if it's going to stick because they still have the finance contingency to go through. They still have the appraisal contingency. There's just a lot of uncertainty in the traditional way of selling a house. The next thing is, in the marketplace method, there's just more showings. Because if there's an attractive list price, more people come through that door. In the traditional method, there's just less showings. There's just not as many people because we start off so high. There's some people who just got pushed aside. When we talk about due diligence comparing the two, we look in the marketplace method to have non-contingent offers. The reason why we are able to do that is we front load all the due diligence of appraisals, of financing, of home inspections. We do all that up front so that we get non-contingent offers, versus in the traditional method, you're just happy to get an offer with all the contingencies, and that buyer who held all the power is kind of calling the shots. They can say, I'm going to walk away if you don't give me an extra $3,500 towards concessions for the repairs. I'm going to walk away if you don't give me an extra week or two to be able to close. So we don't like to find ourselves in those positions. The next thing is when you're comparing your options as far as transparency, in the marketplace method, there is transparent and competitive bidding. Traditionally, buyers are placing blind offers. They have no idea what the market thinks about the value of their house. They're just You know, they showed the house with their buyer's agent. They were all by themselves. They never got to feel the urgency, feel the demand in the market. When we have transparency and competitive bidding, we make sure that people are coming to our open houses. We make sure that people are seeing their competition so that they don't feel comfortable just to make a very passive, low, contingent offer where they think they hold all the cards. We want to show them you're not the only one that likes this house. The next thing that we want to bring our sellers to a decision on is when it comes to offers in the marketplace method, we have highest and best bidding versus traditionally we have price reductions and seller concessions. Next thing is, as far as control is concerned, the seller dictates the terms and timelines versus the buyer is dictating the terms and timelines. So whenever we receive an offer from a buyer, traditionally, they are filling out everything that's favorable to them. When they want to close, when they want to move in, how much earnest money they want to put down, the seller is reacting to that. In the marketplace method, we put it out there, this is the terms and the timelines that we are willing to do. Do you yield to what the seller's deal terms are? From there is the environment. So in the marketplace method, we restrict showings to scheduled open houses. We actually have a lot of open houses on our listings, and not just on the weekend. We sprinkle those out throughout the week in 1 hour time blocks. So it may be a Tuesday at 10 o'clock, it may be a Thursday at 4 o'clock, it may be a Saturday at 9 a.m. I mean, we sprinkle those out and we pre-plan our schedule with the seller so the seller is not having incremental interruptions in their life of like, oh my gosh, somebody wants to see my house in 30 minutes or an hour. I need to run home and get the dog out and make the beds and get the dishes out of the sink. No seller likes that. So when we talk about restricting showings to scheduled open houses, it's really important just for the seller's sanity to be able to know when are you going to have your house open for traffic to come through the door. Conversely, on the traditional method, there's private showings that disrupt the seller's life. We see sellers just get fatigued at like showing request, showing request, showing request. I mean, we see a lot of our sellers get fatigued of like, man, somebody wants to see the house this hour time block, and then they want to skip an hour, and there's another hour time block, and one was at 4 and one was at 6. I got to get the kids picked up from school and back at home, and I got to get the dog out, and like I need to get home and do homework and get the dinner on the table. Sellers get fatigued by that. So what if you could upfront plan out, here's the time blocks in which we're going to host the open houses throughout the week so that you can plan your schedule around that. People love that with the marketplace method. Lastly is representation. Representation, we believe that you hired a listing agent and they need to be your advocate. So what do I mean by that? Because we have scheduled open houses, we are there, physically there in your house to advocate for your best interest. We're there to meet all the agents and all the buyers. Versus in a traditional seller, agents typically abdicate their selling responsibilities to a buyer's agent. So they put a lockbox on the door, they put the key in there, and somebody schedules an appointment, they tell them just to go. There's no one there to represent you and to advocate for your best interest. And so we found the marketplace method to be very valuable for people because we are in the home in these 1 hour time blocks. Let's just say for talking purposes, we have 8 open houses that we have sprinkled out 3 or 4 a week over a 2-week period of time. Let's just say that we had 8 open houses. We were physically there for 8 hours to meet every buyer, every buyer's agent, every potential interested party. We know their names, we know their numbers, we know their email addresses. We have a way and follow up with them, with their lender. We're able to sell your house. So when you hire an agent, you're hiring them to sell. Whenever you're looking to get showings, you need your agent there to sell the product. And so we find the marketplace method is one of those things that you give us a great price, we're going to get a lot of showings. If we get a lot of showings, we're going to bring them through our structure, our process that we are there to physically sell to move that price up. So if we say, hey, listen, I'm glad that you showed up. As you can see, the house is full of other people who also find this house very interesting. We have a starting bid price. I'm sure that's something that you noticed, how we just outperform the market. We have the best product, the best price to be able to offer, and I'm glad that you see that. But the seller has a reserve price, and we believe this house is going to sell for much, much, much more. So you're going to need to put your best foot forward. So houses don't get sold unless they get shown. We want showings, and when we get showings, we want to be there to advocate for you in your best interest, not abdicating to a buyer's agent who knows nothing about your house, who's actually probably showing other houses in the neighborhood. When you have an open house, they're probably there only to see your house. The last thing is the process of the marketplace method. We have a defined process that leads to a predictable experience. So remember, we talked about we have scheduled showings, we have a scheduled process, versus we're reacting to the market and it leads to inconsistent service. So like, I don't know what this house is going to do because we started off too high on the price point. I don't know if this is going to be a 7-week journey or a 17-week journey. I have no way of scheduling what we're going to do into the future because I'm reacting to how the market responds, versus when we come out the gate with the marketplace method, we have a timeline that we are following and we have a plan to make sure that this house sells within our timeline. So you have an option on how you sell the house. Some people prioritize the efficiency of time and predictability. Those people typically fall in our marketplace method. We have other people who value efficiency of cost. They want us they don't want to pay typical real estate commissions. They want us to charge a fee for service, and they really believe they have a great product and they're going to be reasonable in the price. That's great. The traditional method is great for those types of people. So anybody who sells their house traditionally, they are very efficient minded on the cost of the selling of their house. The marketplace method really wants that white glove treatment. Our job description is to expose your property to the largest pool of willing and able buyers so that your property sells for the most money in the shortest period of time. Now, this is just not a catchphrase. We actually have a process I'm going to show here in just a second that we follow. And this process is one of those things that we've been able to refine and improve over time, that we actually can make good on our promises. More money in less time. What's the process to get there? I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let's talk about how Scout attracts high intent buyers to your listing. We've realized over time is that there's really one condition which a buyer will make their very best offer, and that is competition. Our strategy is really designed to create buyer competition on your listing, and we do that in a couple ways. The first thing is we want to stand out from the crowd. And so our plan ensures that your listing will stand out from competing properties. The next thing is we want to cast a wide net to have an attractive list price that draws more interested buyers. Once we do that, we are going to implement our marketing strategy, and we build a marketplace around your home through the pre-listing marketing strategy. So before the house ever goes live, we have a complete series of marketing events that we do to build up the demand before it ever goes live. And the fourth thing that we do is we want to appeal to buyers' emotions. And so this is where we create awareness and demand that creates a bit of competition. So in some of our training, we talk about how we create a marketplace. We want to generate that scarcity. We want to trigger buyers' emotions that they ultimately are competing. This is what we're talking about with that. So let's talk about how we market your home. We definitely list your house in the MLS, and that ultimately gets syndicated to all the major websites. So you're going to find your listing on sites such as Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Homes.com. Pretty much any and every website that you can possibly find, search for, you're going to find your listing. The next thing is we really strongly believe in community mailers. Your neighbors have a vested interest in your neighborhood. Your neighbors care a whole lot about how much homes are selling for. Your neighbors also have a vested interest in where they live, and they may have other friends and family that they want to have move in the neighborhood. So that being said, is we want to make sure that everyone who lives around you knows that this property is coming for sale, and those people know when the open house is going to be able to invite their friends and family. The next thing that we do is we have a lot of email communication. We have a database, well over 25,000 people, of agents, of past clients, interested buyers, and so we do a lot of email communication to expose your house. The next thing is we do digital marketing to expose your house on social. From there, we have a lot of open houses that we offer through our marketplace method, but in our traditional, we do typically our main open house is on the first Sunday. From there, we do listing videos. We have listing assets that are physical in nature, whether that's a web page or feature sheet. And then lastly is overall real estate agents. And so we notify our database of agents whenever our house is going to come on the market. The way that we use our coming soon listing strategy, we have a very strong reach out to the local agent community so that they know what's coming with your listing. So we want our sellers to understand that the marketing strategy that we implement to a property, that is the bait. The price is the hook. It's the thing that draws them in. And so I have said this in some of our training for sellers is that There's no amount of good marketing that can overcome a bad list price, and ultimately your list price is the greatest marketing tool that you have available to you. So we want to use this listing tool of the price point. So whenever we determine a list price, we're going to go through really just 3 stages. The first stage is we're going to look at the past, the present, and the future. So what I mean by the past, present, and future, we want to look at the past comps, what has sold. In the present, we want to look at the active listings, what the homes that are actively competing with your home. And the future is we want to look at what showing activity, what are people searching for and scheduling showings at. These 3 time frames of past, present, and future is going to help us get some general range of value, high and low, about what your house could actualize in the market. From there, we are going to determine what a starting price is. So if you're going the traditional price point, we're going to just pick your list price. But if you're going the marketplace method, we're going to choose a starting price. And this is going to be something that's very compelling. It's something that draws people in. So this starting price is determined by taking into consideration the current active listings that are competing for buyers, because we know that a well-priced home is going to stand out from the competition. And then we're going to find out from you, what is your reserve price? What's the price point that you have in mind that you want to get from the property? Now, that's not where we're going to start. That's hopefully where we end up, if not supersede that price point. So when we talk about pricing, we get a determination or a range of value from past, present, future. We determine a starting place, and we determine your reserve price. So in the event that you go the traditional method of sale, you start off with a high list price. If you do not get any offers or get showings, there's a couple mile markers. As we hit them, we're going to need to make some price reductions. The first one is that anytime we get 10 showings and no offers, it's an indication that our listing is being used to sell other listings. So if there's 8 homes in the area that people are looking at, they look at your home and they're like, man, I don't know if this is a good deal or not. It really helps paint a picture that the house down the road was a better option for them. They don't buy your house, but they move on and buy someone else's houses. So anytime we do have showings and we're not getting offers, the feedback is we're overpriced. So 10 showings or more, we want to have a price reduction. The next thing is if we get to day 15 and we have not gotten 10 showings, we need to have a price reduction, because it's an indication there's just not enough buyers in the marketplace to be able to purchase the property. From there, every 2 weeks, we want to have price reductions every 2 weeks. And the reason why is because we want to refresh the listing. It's kind of like a social feed. Things get bumped down to the bottom of the feed, and popular search platforms prioritize newer listings and prioritize listings with price reductions. So anytime you have a price reduction, there's an auto notification emails that are sent out to all the prospective buyers. If you don't keep your house moving, if there's not some bit of dynamic pricing, I believe that you're really selling yourself short to get the exposure that you need to actually get a contract. And then lastly is after any offer. So my thought process here is, if you're going to tell one buyer that you're willing to take a lower price, you need to tell every buyer that you're willing to take a lower price. Let's just say, for talking purposes, you have a $500,000 house, somebody makes an offer at $480,000 and you counter offer at $490,000. Well, goodness gracious, go on the MLS and price reduce to $490,000. Don't just tell one person, tell everyone, okay? So this is whenever we're going to have price reductions, if we're not getting the house under contract. Now, I want to share with you my philosophies on dynamic pricing. So really what we want to do is we want to test a list price. So the list price is the most effective marketing tool to attract a wide range of buyers. Since buyers typically search within price brackets, adjusting the list price allows us to maximize a listing's exposure to multiple buyer pools. Anytime you're trying to sell your house, there is a lot of different buyers searching in different buyer pools. That some of those buyers could see your house and other buyers may not see your house. And I'll explain what I mean here in just a second. So traditional pricing is going to restrict a property's marketability to a very narrow search range. It's going to limit the engagement from buyers across different price brackets. This is going to reduce the probability of sales since the listing fails to reach entire buyer pools. So let me show you what I mean by this. Let's just say, for talking purposes, there are 3 different buyer pools, 7 to 800, 8 to 900, 900 to $1 million. Those are 3 distinct buyer pools of prospective buyers. If you're going to list your house at 850, you're really only addressing one buyer pool, this one right here in the middle. You're missing out on people who are in the 900 to $1 million, or the people at 700 to 800. The reason why these 2 buyer pools are interesting, are important to engage with, is sometimes if someone's searching between 7 and 800, sometimes they're just not finding what they look for, and they end up increasing their budget. And when they do, this new buyer has shown up, and your house may have been listed for a month, but they could have always seen it. We want to make sure that that lower buyer pool has seen the listing as it's coming on the market. Conversely, at a higher price point at 900 to a million, just because you have 900 to a million, that's what you're looking for, just because you have the money to spend, you may not want to spend it. There is definitely cases where someone's like, yeah, you know, I'd be certainly happy with this $850,000 house, and I never would have seen it had I had not looked lower. So whenever we take a house to market, there's a coming soon phase. Before the house ever goes live and active for scheduled showings or open houses, before that ever happens, there's a build-up phase, a coming soon phase. This is the time frame in which we want to test our pricing. We want to make sure that we're getting exposure to all three pools of buyers. And so this may sound a little crazy, but we actually have a lot of dynamic pricing in the coming soon phase. It's not consequential, it does not cost you anything, but we want to hit people's auto notification emails, because people who are searching on Zillow, searching on Realtor.com, searching on Homes.com, searching on Trulia, searching on the MLS, they have what's called auto notification emails set up that's sending them homes that are coming on the market. Because of that, when we bring our home, it's going to naturally email blast to them that your house is coming for sale. Well, if we change the price on a daily basis in the coming soon phase, again, it's not active, it's not consequential, it does not save the price point. If we change the price just like this, we start off at $950, we drop it to the very next day to $925, the next day we drop it to $900, the next day we drop to $850, $800, $750. We've literally addressed three different buyer pools with this property. Now, there could be some of these buyer pools that have overlapping searches. What's great about that is you put an email in their inbox every single day, every time you've changed the price. So if your house has shown up in their inbox 6 or 7 times before you ever came live on the market, it does not get any more targeted marketing than that. A buyer has set up their criteria and their location at their price point, and you put a new listing right in their inbox for them to check every morning. But you did it on multiple times before it ever went live. So in this scenario, let's just say that our seller really wanted to get $925 for the house. And let's just say that there's a range of value, and we're going to discover what the market thinks about this. We're not assuming value, we're going to discover value. In this range of value, we start off at $775. That's our starting price. And we have on the MLS description that this is just a starting price. We have on the MLS description that the seller has a reserve price and they're looking to get north of that. We're in all the open houses. We're meeting face-to-face with all the buyers. We're letting them know that there's competition, that we have multiple offers. Those price points will start to climb. What we're trying to do is to meet, if not exceed, the seller's reserve price. So when you have done this, the 775 is an amazing marketing hook. The way in which we had the price reductions that address 3 different buyer pools is an amazing marketing strategy. We do this to get the most exposure. So in a traditional way of listing, if you just came out of the market and you're like, I want to sell my house for $850, there's only one group of buyers, only one group that saw that listing. The first day you got listed was this one buyer saw one email. I want all of these buyers to see multiple emails, okay? I know that sounds crazy, but it's a method of the madness, and that's how we get hyper-focused, targeted marketing to a defined buyer group, okay? The next thing that I want you to understand is that when we take a house to market, we follow a very tight schedule. Now, when you're looking at this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is just a lot of jumbled up mess. And I'm not going to even drag you through this and explain it to you. I just want you to understand, when we sell a house, we want to sell a house within the first month from start to finish. And we have them broken down in 5 phases. The first phase is the seller's going to prepare the house for pictures, prepare the house for the inspections, prepare the house for the showings. The next thing is the listing prep. We're going to get the things staged. We're going to get the marketing assets built. In the marketing prep is our third phase, and so we're going to be deploying marketing assets. We're starting to send out postcards. We're starting to send out video. We're starting to let our realtor networks know. From there, the listing actually goes live, and there's a period of time. You see these yellow squares out here. These are the scheduled open houses that we have predefined with you of when we're going to have our house open for sale. So this window of opportunity could be 7 to 14 days. I think anything less than 7 days may be too fast to be able to get contingentless offer for the highest price, and anything 14 days long, maybe just too long to hold buyers' attention. So we typically try to go between 7 and 14 days with your listing. And then we have a defined sales date. That's what's in black. That's the stage, phase 5, is we have a sales date circled on the calendar. This is the date that we're going to call for highest and best. So again, I'm not going to take you through, this is internal purposes, but I just wanted you to see that we have a schedule, we have a plan. When we take your listing, we're going to follow that. We even break this 30-day calendar into very tight steps. We're very process oriented. So what I want you to understand is that the marketplace method is not the promise of a price. Like, you tell me you want to sell your house for $800,000, I can't promise you that price. But I tell you what, I do have a process to find the market's highest value for the property. I do have a process to bring you multiple offers. I do have a process to help us discover what the market's opinion of value is for your property. So when you meet with one of our agents, know that your understanding is we are going to take you through a process of discovery to find the highest and best price for your house, so that you don't waste time, so that you can plan to pack with certainty, and that you do not get frustrated about an unpredictable sales cycle. So when we talk about the benefits of selling through the marketplace method, this is why you should choose to consider the marketplace method for yourself. The first is you're going to be in complete control at all times. The next thing is we have a scheduled process that we follow. From there, we are going to build a marketplace to give you the most exposure to drive people through your house. From there, we are going to learn market feedback, because we were actually there in the house to receive people's opinion, both on the price, both on the condition. We're going to understand what's driving their decision making. So you want feedback, you want a proactive agent, that's what we are. From there, you're going to reduce time on the market. You're not going to waste time, because we have a sales schedule so it's going to be tight timelines. So when I say we're going to sell your house for more money in less time, this is where the less time comes into. Increased transparency is going to get you the most amount of money. Everyone sees.
Just increased transparency. Just that, yeah.
All right. The next thing is increased transparency. Because of the way in which we host open houses, everyone sees their competition. Everyone starts to understand there is leverage and urgency in the sale. We are going to need to make a decision if this is the house for us. And if so, we're going to need to put our best foot forward. And then lastly is you're going to close with certainty. And we do that because we front loaded all of our due diligence. We did not wait to go into contract just to find out if the buyer actually sticks. So these are the benefits to using the marketplace method. All right. So I want to show you our process. Our coming soon phase typically is 2 weeks. We have a build up, and we do things like taking photographs. We get our inspections and our appraisals done. We get our listing schedule built out with you. We have a start price and reserve price scheduled, and we ultimately deploy our marketing assets. From there, we take the house active on the market, and this could be anywhere from 7 to 14 days sales cycle, where we host our open houses. We're following up with prospective buyers. We're using the leverage of the sales date to create urgency, and then our weekly sales reports are coming in, so we're telling you what's happening in real time. And then ultimately, we're verifying the buyer's financial qualifications. So we're not just hoping that they can afford it, we're verifying this in that window of time. The next thing is we have a sales day defined on the calendar. We are calling for highest and best offers on that date. And ultimately, we're going to find out what the buyer's willing to pay for. And we just believe that in the competitive market, we're going to get the highest and best. In the event, this is something that people ask us, what happens if we don't get our reserve number in the marketplace method? What if we wanted more money and it just doesn't happen? Okay, well, here's what's going to happen. You have 3 options. We can relist your property at your reserve price. It didn't sell through the marketplace method, no problem. We take it live the very next day, and we just reveal what your reserve price number is. The second thing is we can take the property off the market, and let's just wait for a different market and hope for better days. The market's just not where we hoped it would be. And the third option is, because we're going to try to get multiple offers for you, we're going to negotiate further with the offers received. So if you don't get what you hoped to get, no big deal. We're just going to we got 5 offers here. Let's start to counteroffer them. Let's just to see if we can't move them up. They were competing with one another, but ultimately they're going to have to compete with the seller for the highest number. Let me give you a case study. We listed a house a couple months ago. They wanted to go traditional. They wanted the fee for service. They loved our menu-based pricing. They were going to save a lot of money by using Scout, and we were happy for it. But that being said they told us, listen, we don't need to sell. We're just going to test the market. We're going to leave room for negotiation. And their expectations were very, very high. They wanted 1.45, and I thought on their best day, the market's been very slow. Interest rates have been high. There's been a lot of unpredictable things in the market right now. On their best day, might be worth 1.2, maybe. So we listed their house for 75 days traditionally. The first month we had 4 showings. The second month we had 4 showings, and we had a $25,000 price reduction. The third showing we had only 2 showings, and we had a $25,000 price reduction. So at the end of 75 days, basically 3 months, we had a $50,000 price reduction. We ended up having 10 total showings. We had no offers, and we did not learn anything. We do not even have a clue of what the effective sales price is for this house. We have no idea. Now, we decided to take the house off the market, and they found a home that they wanted to buy. But to buy that house, they had to sell this house. So all of a sudden, they became motivated. All of a sudden, timelines did matter. They ended up going to our marketplace method, and this is our results. We were getting a lot of traffic on Zillow and Realtor.com and the MLS. And if you look at our traffic count between the marketplace method versus the traditional, it's much, much, much higher given the amount of time that we were listed. So we were only listed for 13 days. We were trying to sell between 7 and 14 days. Our sales cycle ended up being 13 days. We started out at $950,000. So that's a lot lower than where they ended up at 1.4. They told us their reserve price, they really wanted 1.3 million. I said, listen guys, I still feel like this is higher than the market value. However, we can do it, but it's still higher than market value. But 1.3 was their number. In 13 days, we had 8 open houses. Remember, we were not allowing private showings. We had open houses to drive the traffic through our process, that we could be there to advocate for the seller, that we could be there to get the buyer's feedback in real time. So by doing this, over the 13 days, we had 1-hour time blocks of 8 open houses. We had 81 people come through the door. 46 of those people registered with us as showing high intent for the property. Now, not all these people have financial qualifications or have a home sale or wasn't relocating to Nashville in the time frame. So there's a lot of things that could have gone, I say wrong. They were not the ideal buyer. If they're looking to take a job in 3 months, we don't have 3 months to wait. So we ended up getting 4 offers in that 13-day sales cycle, and our highest and best offer was 1.275. No contingencies. The deposit was $30,000 non-refundable deposit to close in 7 days. So the seller was like, you know what? Because of the process, I got to choose the best buyer. Because of the process, I had no contingency, so I de-risked it for myself. I could plan my move. Because of the process, I found the best buyer in the market. Because of the process, I really wanted 1.3. However, the market has spoken, and the market does not lie. So this is a case study that I just give you as an example. We have multiple of these case studies, but I would advocate for the marketplace method if time and certainty and predictability and efficiency is something that you value. That's what we have to offer. So at Scout, we have you covered. There's a couple things that I want you to know as we finalize this listing presentation. The first thing is there's a team. We work as a team. There's a team in your corner. From there, we have a marketing coordinator, we have a listing coordinator, and we have a transaction coordinator. We hire a showing service to help us in our traditional listings. We do weekly communications with all of our listings to give them market feedback on where they stand in the market. From there, we have a proven marketing strategy to drive showings, drive demand for the property. We have a very defined process that we take people through. We deal support, so our agents are very much hands-on with the team, giving deal support from the very beginning all the way to the end. And then lastly is we have a one-stop shop. We have a title company and we have an insurance company, so we're able to support our clients in multiple ways. Our team, we have a very tight defined structure that we go through. So remember I showed you the calendar. This is our checklist internally, and it's designed to give you a great, predictable customer experience. So again, I'm not going to show this to you in great detail. I just want you to know we got you. We can absolutely help you land the plane in a very consistent and predictable way. We also have our weekly update sheets that we go through internally, so when we call you, we're going off of this framework to let you know what the market's doing, what the feedback on your house is doing, how we're performing, and what adjustments need to be made if there's any. A couple things I want you to understand is that we have a time-tested track record of success. We've been doing this since 2013. We've sold over 3,000 houses. We've done about 1.4 going on 1.5 billion in sales. We've helped our clients who've gone the traditional method save over $10 million in real estate commissions. We're very proud of that. In a way, we measure our success on what we help save our clients versus what we take from them. And so when we do traditional methods and fee-for-service pricing, we're very happy to see our clients be able to retain their equity. Our average client's saving about $15,000. We have been featured in some things like Inc. magazine and Forbes, and so there's been some recognition. So we want you to know that we put our clients first. We want to make sure that we're making a local impact, and many of our clients save a lot of money by using our traditional approach. Many clients save themselves a lot of frustration in our marketplace approach, but local impact is something that we're committed to. So we tell our clients how you can sell and save with Scout. We also have a global impact, and so whenever you sell a home through Scout, we help build a home, and so we've been partners with Homes for Homes for almost going on 10 years. Homes for Homes builds houses for widows and orphans in impoverished countries, and they built, I guess they're approaching 7,000 people housed in Uganda, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico. So this is something that's been very integral in our business. So we want to do local good here in Nashville, and we want to do a global good. So if you work with us, just know that this is our heart. We put our people, our clients ahead of our needs. We really want to make sure that we love our clients by making homeownership faster, easier, and more affordable. As we end here, you're going to have some next steps. First thing you need to do is you need to decide which listing method you're going to choose. Are you going to choose the traditional approach that's a fee-for-service, menu-based pricing? Or are you going to choose the marketplace approach that's based on timed sales? From there, we're going to need to choose the price of your house. What's our starting price? The next thing is we're going to sign listing agreements and documents. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build the listing schedule. From there, you need to prepare your home for photographs and home inspections. Then we're going to hire our vendors to go out there and take photographs. From there, our inspectors, appraisals are going to be conducted, and we're going to search the title. Our listing marketing will get created and deployed. We're going to have our go live date on the MLS defined. We're going to schedule out our open houses, and then we're going to determine your sales date. So this is how we move forward in our relationship. So I hope this has been very comprehensive. I hope this is something that you have a very clear understanding about how Scout can help you achieve success. We love our sellers. We have prioritized, we've literally obsessed about our process to be able to deliver results. I mean, it's something that we take great pride in. We're not here just to collect a paycheck. We're not here just to collect commissions. We really have obsessed to over-deliver for our clients. And so if this is something that's interesting to you, we can't wait to see you face-to-face and explain to you how we're going to specifically help you sell your house. So that's all for now. I'm Jonathan at Scout Realty. Hope to see you soon.